Hey everyone, I'm back with a long overdue podcast. I don't usually do favorites. There are so many things in 2022 that I genuinely loved so much, and it was really hard to consolidate, but I tried to stick to 5 to 10-ish things that I really loved from different categories. And if you buy or use any of these products, I can guarantee you it will make your 2023 that much better. These are things I would recommend to my friends and family, and I just can't stop talking about, or I've bought multiple times. So everything that I talk about in this podcast, I will be linking in the description so you can easily find them. Let's get started. So first category, I've tried many snacks, but these are my top 13 favorite things. At Trader Joe's, there's this dark chocolate brittle cookie. It is insane. It is the perfect sweetness. If you're somebody who likes semi-sweet desserts, this is the best thing. Secondly is pineapple buns. I was obsessed with pineapple buns. It's actually my favorite dessert item, especially the ones where the tops are like super crispy and then the inside's like fluffy and soft. Oh my gosh. Another food or snack that I've been loving is kouign. I hope I'm saying it right. It's this French pastry. The best way to describe it, it's a croissant, but there's a caramelized, crispy top to it. I really care about texture, so this is really important to me, that the top part of the pastry has, or like some part of the pastry has some crunch, and then there's softness to it. This is like an elevated croissant. The next one, I'm a huge fruit person, but this year I've been obsessed with guava. Guava, it literally is just like water. It's like flavored water. So if you can pick up some guava and you just want a snack that isn't too heavy, guavas are like perfect. Another thing I've been loving in terms of food and snacks / drinks is an alternative for my lattes. I pretty much make coffee almost every day. And the thing is, when you're trying to make a coffee or a latte that tastes exactly like a Starbucks latte or any of those coffee shops that are delicious, they always use really fatty barista types of milk. And those types of milk are delicious, but they're actually so bad for you. Especially when I'm having it every day, it's probably so bad for me because I'm like consistently consuming something terrible. So I found a healthy alternative that tastes just as good. And it's the macnut milk for lattes. And you can pretty much only get them from like the healthy, organic, higher end grocery stores like Whole Foods. So for 2022, I also loved making homemade granola. Granola is like perfect for oatmeal, for yogurt in general. It's also really fun to make at home and healthier to make at home. So I started making homemade granola thanks to my LA roommate, Tara. She and I made huge batches of granola almost every single week, and I was obsessed with it. It tasted way better and way fresher and crunchier than the ones that you would buy at the grocery store. So I would highly recommend to make your granola at home. It's so easy. The ingredients are really inexpensive. It's just the best thing, and it makes your entire kitchen smell insane. In terms of meals, I've been loving Cambodian food. I'm part Cambodian. I don't know what it is. I think it might have been because once I moved to New York, it was really hard for me to find Cambodian food, especially authentic Cambodian food. So I cherish it way more now, and I'm just obsessed with it. If you've never tried it before, it is significantly different than the other Asian cuisines. So I would highly recommend that you search for some authentic Cambodian food if you can even find it. I also am obsessed with homemade hot pot. So easy to do. You literally just throw everything into a broth that you want, and you can have several meals with it. You can also invite friends and do the hot pot at home. It's so easy. I have also been loving this particular brand of frozen dumplings from the Asian grocery store, and it's a pork and chive frozen dumpling. I've gotten my friends who've tried this dumpling on it. They have asked me, where did I get it? What does the packaging look like? Just so that they can find it at their local grocery store. Literally like a 15-minute preparation time. You just boil the dumpling and then it's a soup dumpling. So when you eat it, it's so good. I'm not very good at, using unique descriptive words and like changing it up. So everything just sounds good right now in my list. Something else that I've been obsessed with is dates with peanut butter. And I actually can't take any credit for this. I watched a YouTube video from Emma Chamberlain, and I don't remember which video it was, but she was talking about how she's been obsessed with this one snack. And I decided to try it one day. And let me tell you, it is worth the hype. It is so good. It's this healthy, super sweet but salty dessert/snack. You just take the dried date, take out the pit, and then you take peanut butter and then you just put it on the inside, or you can just dip it. Last thing on this list is Trader Joe's instant cold brew, and it's just instant coffee. But it's been amazing because there's some days that I really am just too lazy to pull out the grinder, pull out my coffee beans, grind up my coffee beans, put in the espresso machine, heat up the water, like all of that. It takes 15 minutes. There's some days that I want to shorten that process, and the instant cold brew from Trader Joe's literally does the job. You put 1 scoop of the coffee into water, mix it, and 2 seconds later, you have a good coffee. The next category is beauty. I'm obsessed with double cleansing. Ever since 2022 started, I started double cleansing. This was also from Emma Chamberlain. She was going through her morning and night routine, and she was saying how she double cleanses. And I was like, I don't do that. I just cleanse once. And ever since I started double cleansing, it's helped so much with my face. I mean, my face isn't perfect right now, but I did clearly see differences in my face. Highly would recommend doing that. The next one is perfect for the winter time. I've been loving the Body Shop body butters, especially the British Rose, Olive, and Honey scent. Those 3 scents are amazing, but the best thing about this product is that it's so moisturizing, which is perfect for the winter. I get the most ashy skin, and this body butter just keeps your skin super moisturized, and it's so thick, and it's amazing, and it smells super good. It is on the pricey side, so if you can get it whenever there's a discount, that is perfect. Highly recommend that. Also highly recommend a silicone body cleaning brush. So I know some people use loofahs and like scrubbers and things like that, but a silicone brush stays way cleaner and you don't have to do a lot to keep it clean. It won't like grow moldy or anything like that. So it's really great. I love it personally, and I feel like it cleans probably even better than a loofah. So those are some beauty tips, products I've been obsessed with for 2022. The next category is health. So this one I don't really have too much for, but I have 3 things that I've been using and that I think are working for 2022, and I'm still using them coming into 2023. So that's how confident I am in these products. First is anti-cavity toothpaste. I did not know this was a thing. It basically balances out your pH. Bacteria grows a lot in a specific pH. So once you balance it out, it will create an environment in your mouth that isn't ideal for bacteria to grow. And then every day I take seed pills. It's a gut microbiome probiotic pill, and it's been helping me poop. Basically, I have some issues 95% of my days where I just cannot poop. And there were times where I literally would not poop for weeks, which is really, really bad because you're supposed to poop once a day, apparently. And I definitely wasn't doing that until I started taking this pill. Oh my God, this sounds like an ad, but seriously, it works super well for me. I take 2 pills a day like I'm supposed to, and then I use the restroom. And then the last health item is omega 369 pills. And this one, I won't see the benefits of it until I'm much older, but it protects your brain health. And you really can only get omega fats from mainly like fish. And I don't really eat fish every day. You're supposed to. And I don't really want my brain to deteriorate. So to prevent that, I've been taking those pills every day. Hopefully it leads to something, but I can't really say. Next category is kitchen and home items. So now that I'm quote unquote an adult and I'm living on my own, blah, 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 I've been buying and using specific kitchen and home supplies. Obviously, it's really awesome to be able to customize that instead of my parents buying them for me and I just use whatever my parents get. So that's where I'm coming from here. I've been obsessed with matcha making kit, which I got from Amazon, and it was pretty pricey. It was like $30-ish, $40-ish dollars, but it was so worth it. It makes the matcha taste way better. If you love matcha lattes, this is for you. This will literally elevate your matcha latte. Before, I would make a matcha latte and then I'd be like, this is not as good as the coffee shops. Ever since I got the kit, it just does it for me. It helps you get the matcha into a really, really fine texture to the point where once you put it into the milk, it like dissolves completely. And that's exactly what you want. Like, you don't want to be chewing on chunks of matcha powder when you're supposed to be drinking the latte. Also, I've been obsessed with the espresso machine. I got one 2021 from my friends. They're pretty expensive, but I feel like it is so worth it if you're going to spend not even $5 anymore. It's literally like $6 to $8 now to get a latte every day. That's gonna quickly add up and you can quickly save so much money by just buying an espresso machine and learning how to use it. This one's super weird, but I also have been loving mason jars. I think mason jars are so cute for storing things. It just gives like a very vintage, homey feel. And I love putting my drinks in it, making overnight oats in them. I like storing like chia seeds, nuts, things like that in them. And they just look so cute and like cohesive. So I've been loving mason jars. Also in 2022, I've really fallen in love with getting back into art. And with that being said, to make sure that I kind of stick with it and also dedicate a lot of time to art, I have a physical space that is dedicated to making art. So in my room in LA and also in New York, I have a portion of my bedroom taken out for art. And it's like this mini art studio, and I got inspiration from Pinterest and things like that. I use a lot of different fabric. I use an easel. I have paints and everything scattered around. It just makes me so happy. And the last thing in this section is to get a reflective crystal or disco ball. So you might have seen these posts on my Instagram if you follow me, but I'm obsessed with like the rainbow light reflections I get. It's just such a nice touch whenever I come into my room and the light hits perfectly on the disco ball or on the crystal, and then there's just like a light show in my room. I'm in love with that. And it's just like this little thing that just makes me super happy. Okay, next section is travel. First is a roll-up bag for toiletries. So I know a lot of people use makeup bags, and I use a makeup bag, but it's this hassle that I just can't believe I dealt with for so long. You literally have millions of different products in one bag and you have to rummage through it, and it's super annoying. Things get lost, things spill everywhere. But then if you get a roll-up toiletry bag, it is way better. It's a see-through bag that rolls up and there's multiple pockets within this one toiletry bag, if that makes sense. And you can fold it and collapse it so that it takes up very little space. You can hang it, and you can also remove each of the mini bags that are within the one huge bag, if that makes sense. It's the most amazing thing. It was the best when I went into the hostel in Hawaii. I just hung my bag onto different hooks, and it was so easy for me to see what's inside my bag. I can also, separate the items based on category. So I had my shampoo, conditioner, face wash in one bag. I had my makeup in another bag, but they're all within one bag. Hopefully this makes sense. This is kind of interesting for me to describe because you can't really see what I'm talking about. Honestly, best purchase I've ever made for traveling. And finally, for travel, this is especially if you're underage for the rental car. So some states have a very high age minimum for renting out a car. Turo, which is what I am obsessed with, is this company/app. They allow you to rent cars from people living in the area that you're visiting. It's basically like Airbnb for rental cars. Next section is fashion, and I know I'm going all over the place. But anyways, fashion, I love Marc Fisher's black boots. They're like 1.5 inch platform boots. My friends have gotten this boot. I got this boot because my roommate, Tiffany, she recommended it to me. And also I saw her wearing them and I was like, oh my God, where did you get those boots? They're literally the perfect black boot. They're the most comfortable thing. I've danced in clubs. I've hiked miles and miles in these boots and they're still beautiful, the most comfortable thing, and still look good with many, many outfits. So I would highly recommend those. They're like a rain boot type of Chelsea boot in a way. Super duper comfortable and pretty affordable. Also have been loving brown instead of black. So anytime I don't want to go for that really harsh black look, I like to opt for brown things. Brown has been near and dear to my style last year. I also have been loving wide leg overalls. I got my pair from ASOS. I used to have skinny jean overalls. I don't know how I did that. I don't know why I did that because they literally gave me a wedgie every 30 minutes. But wide leg overalls are perfect because they are comfortable and you can layer a ton under them. So just to elevate an outfit that normally I would wear like a t-shirt and jeans, I can elevate it by literally putting a t-shirt underneath my overalls and bam, it's like this added layer. And lastly, you might have seen me wear this a million times because again, I'm obsessed. Uniqlo's short puffer. So I have this pink, like mauve color Uniqlo short puffer jacket. It's the perfect length. It's lasted me through so many interesting weather conditions, situations, adventures. It's a great cheap alternative for the short puffer that Aritzia has, the super puff. Like I believe it's like a third of the price. Okay, so next is tech favorites. I have so many. I tested out. I'm obsessed with the 35mm Olympus film cameras. I had two, not because they were bad cameras, but because I was really bad at taking care of them and I like dropped them everywhere and I was just not a good camera owner. But anyways, the MJU Deluxe is amazing. The Epic Zoom 80, which is the one I just recently got, is also amazing. So I would highly recommend those if you're trying to start off, taking point and shoot film pictures without having to do too much research. Those two are amazing. Highly recommend that you should get noise canceling headphones. It took me a really long time to get onto this train, but once I did, I got the QC, the Quiet Comfort 45 from Bose. There's also the Sony ones that everyone has been wearing. Whatever it is, noise canceling is so nice. The first 3 weeks, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I was underwater. Like I felt like my head was going to explode for a little bit. But then after the 3-week period of like kind of adjusting to the noise canceling functionality, I love it because it makes me so much more productive. Once I cancel the noises around me, I get so much done. I feel like I'm in the zone, basically. I also have been loving my white Kindle. I didn't really care for like a fancy gadget. I just wanted to be able to read books on a device. I still do love reading and holding actual paper books. That is really special, but at the same time, I can confidently say the Kindle is better. I want to travel. I don't really want to settle down. I travel a lot already because I'm going back and forth from New York to home. And I'm also on the subway a lot, traveling to work, just millions of places. And it is super inconvenient to have to carry a book, especially if you like to read bigger books. Like that is horrible. Like how are you going to fit that into your tote bag, into your bucket bag, into your baguette bag, whatever it is? Like it's super inconvenient. Instead, you can just get a Kindle and it legit fits in my pocket. Next is apps. I tried so many new apps. I'm going to talk about 5 or 6 of them. The first is Yelp and Pinterest because they're not really new apps that I've been using, but I really, really do love them and I use them at least once every other day. So Yelp, that's where I get all my good eats. So if you're following me on Instagram, you're like, how do you even find these places? Or if you've, hung out with me and I was the one that planned where to eat, that's where I'm usually finding where to eat. Also, Pinterest has been my main area of inspiration for a million things. For posing, for Instagram photos, for Instagram photo content in general, for art, fashion especially. I have a million boards on there. You can follow me if you'd like. And for more niche apps that I've also been loving, Belly is another one, Beli. It's similar to Yelp, except it's much more exclusive. So you only share your recommendations and the places that you've been eating with your friend groups. You will invite somebody into the app, and once you invite them, they can see your favorites. Also been loving Locket, basically like Snapchat but for a widget. I just have my really close friends on that app so that whenever they post anything on the widget, I will see it, and it's really nice and sweet, especially when I have friends now in different parts of the US and I kind of want to see what's going on, and it's really easy. I don't have to go into an app, I just see it on my wallpaper and it makes me really happy to see their updates. I also love Too Good To Go. It's an app that lets you get food on discount. So you can go to restaurants and pick up mystery bags. You get them for way, way cheaper than they sell them for. So for example, I've gone to a few coffee shops now to get my Too Good To Go bag, and I'll get pastries. One time I got this bag of 6 pastries and I paid $4. It was like a huge croissant. I got a pistachio croissant. I got a ham cheese sandwich thing. It was delicious and it was legit less than $5 when I know that each of those pastries, normal price, I would have gotten for $5. I also got cream puffs this one time from this really bougie dessert place, and they're normally like $30 per box, but the girl gave me 2 boxes and I only spent $5. That was the best. Like, that was insane. When I got that, I was like, wow, I'm really lucky and this is the best day ever. Okay, last app is the money management app. So if you watched my money management videos on YouTube, you'll know that this is the main way that I keep track of my expenses. Last year, I got serious with my finances because, I started making big girl money. I keep track of everything I spend money on so that I know exactly what's happening with my money with this app. And it's just super easy to use. It's a very aesthetically pleasing app. That matters to me a lot. I don't like using apps that look outdated. Okay, last 2 sections is entertainment and other. So for entertainment, this is like books, shows, movies, etc. I love Top Gun 2. Top Gun is my favorite movie. First one and second one. And the second one came out last year. I watched it in 4D. Your seats are basically moving. And also you get to smell and get sprayed on, I guess, depending on what happens in the movie. I highly recommend watching things in 4D if it's an action movie. It's not worth if you're watching any other type of movie, because if there isn't much action or things happening on screen, your chair will barely move. But Top Gun was perfect for this because it was like literally fights and they're flying and everything. So our chairs were always moving. That was really fun. I've also been watching the anime Jujutsu Kaisen, which my friends have recommended to me. We're literally obsessed with the show. We're waiting for the second season to come out. But it is a really good all-around type of show where you have comedy, deep moments, action, mystery, thriller. It's really good. And the best part about it, because I am somebody who doesn't really watch a lot of shows and movies because of the commitment of it all, Jujutsu Kaisen has been perfect because the episodes are really short and there isn't many episodes or seasons. Also, another movie I've been loving is The Worst Person in the World. It is a European film. This movie was just super special to me because of what I was going through at the time that I was watching it. And I felt like I could really, really relate to the main character. But it's this female who is growing up in her 20s, and it's her kind of figuring out her love life, but also just life in general. And it's a very like coming of age, romantic, funny, down to earth movie. I love that movie. I would say it's definitely in my like top 5. And for books, I loved Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. Such a good book. I could not put that book down. It made me cry. It made me go through a million emotions. It's crazy because I watched her on iCarly and I wasn't a huge fan of iCarly or her really, but like reading that book just made me realize like, I mean, I know this already, like they're all human, right? Like stars, celebrities, they're human, but like media portrays them in such a one-dimensional way that it's easy for me to just assume or just think of them as very one-dimensional. And when I read this book, it was just like, I cannot believe you went through all of that. And it does touch on eating disorders. It was also even more special because it is something that I can definitely relate to. Just love that book. Super easy read. I think I read it in like a week. I get a lot of my entertainment from YouTube. I've specifically have been watching very heart-to-heart esque types of videos. So like the content that I create is basically the content I like to watch. I love Lynette Atkins. She goes into working the 9 to 5, kind of creating that life that you want. I also love Struthless, who also goes into pretty deep topics, but it's more like self-help, like things that you can implement. And his videos aren't really like sit down podcast types of videos. They're really entertaining. Like he's like the extreme of editing, and he puts a lot of effort in creativity in terms of his editing. TED Talks are my guilty pleasure. I watch them a lot. I know that makes me seem like a real adult that just doesn't have fun. This is really exposing me. I love them. I don't care what people think. And finally, this is the section for things I just really didn't know what I would put it into. The travel journal. It's this Japanese brand, and they have this leather journal. That's their like signature thing. And you just replace the inserts of the leather journal so that you don't have to buy brand new journals each time, which are usually around $20 if you get like Moleskine or Lordstrom. That's pretty pricey, especially when I'm going through books like crazy. I journal so much. Now that I have this travel journal, it saves me a ton of money because each insert is like, I believe $4 for me from Amazon. I just get the dupe. I don't get the authentic insert because I really don't care. And it's been super nice because it's also way smaller and I like the size of it. So it fits perfectly like a Kindle does in my pockets, things like that. I also carry around with me a sketchbook because I'm trying to commit myself to a lot more art. So now that I have a sketchbook with me, whenever I have downtime, I will always be sketching or reading from my Kindle. And last but not least, the Discover credit card. I love that credit card. It's a great beginner's credit card, but I loved it especially when I was in school because I believe they have like the student deal where they will match your cash back. So they give a 5% cash back on different categories every season. And then since I got the matched deal, I was getting 10% cash back. So that was awesome. I feel so exhausted now because I've just been talking forever. I hope that you try 1 or 2 things from this list. Let me know if you really love them on my Instagram or on YouTube because I would love to know if it worked out for you too or if it's just a me thing. Thanks for listening.